I was raised Catholic, and we didn't raise our kids. And we went to...
You didn't raise them at all.
We didn't raise them at all. We just let it happen. And we were in a hotel, and my daughter took the Bible out and started pretending to order room service. Like that was the menu. And I'm like, we're sending our children to hell.
Can I get a Revelations? Ooh, is the Leviticus fresh?
It's breaking bread.
I guess you're Italian. I didn't.
What's the giveaway?
I mean, honestly, I never put it together. But now, as I look at this, I'm going, yeah. I think he's a little bit Italian.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that going on.
From where?
New Jersey.
But, okay. The only place more Italian than Italy.
Yeah.
That's true.
Sicily and Cinque Terre.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone says that, but...
They don't mean it?
Well, there's no real evidence of it. I'm thinking it was probably Naples, and they're like, no, we're from the nicer part.
Naples? Oh, because Naples is a little...
It's a little hustly-bustly.
It's a little dicey.
Yeah, exactly.
I was there once for New Year's Eve, and I was like, I think we need to leave. There was gunshots. And
I think we need to leave.
I think we need to leave. It's a little aggressive.
Well, thank you for being here. I'd like to start off with a toast.
A toast.
Congratulations on a kick-ass new show.
Oh, thank you.
I started watching it.
It's scary and weird, right?
It is, and it hooked me.
Really?
Yeah.
Good.
I'm like halfway through the fourth one.
It is.
Like I was like, I don't watch. Joe is my trusty producer, and he was just mocking me this morning that I don't watch anything, and which is a horrible thing when you're a host of a radio show
No, I
and a
think
podcast.
it's good. You just leave it open. You just leave it wide open.
I just don't. I don't know what happens, but I turned yours on, and yeah, it's hooky. It's
hooky.
really good.
Yeah, and I'm all kinds of fucked up in that.
You're really good.
I'm really messed up.
You're really good.
I'm trying to. Yeah, it's a little bit. Everyone's like, why are you doing hard things when you could do, just go be a mom somewhere? And I'm like, she's a mom. She's just a mom that's like possessed by the devil, possibly, or just totally insane.
Yeah,
which is what I think she is.
You do?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's really the way it was sold to me, and I can't watch myself, so I can't watch the show.
Oh, you haven't seen the show?
I can't watch myself. I can watch
ya.
chunks of it.
Yeah.
But watching me.
Why, you're too judgy?
Oh, my Lord, am I judgy?
Just rip yourself
also,
apart.
I'm just like, that's it. I'm going into a plastic surgeon's tomorrow, and I'm just going to have my entire face taken off and read it. That's what all I can think about is if I watch myself. And those aren't healthy thoughts.
What is the thing you see when you see yourself that's like the thing that you can't let go? Because I have mine.
I see my mom.
You see your mom.
Who's lovely.
Right. We
and
love mom.
She's lovely. I love you, Mom. But I don't want to. I'm like, oh my God, I'm my mother. I'm my mother. And I should get over that, but that's what I see.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've crossed over. I crossed over.
I hear you.
What do you see?
I see a fatso.
You just see rolls.
I see
like someone ate Tom Papa.
John Candy's brother.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I see. I'm fat. For some reason, I'm always fat. And
for some reason,
I just had a stand-up special, and this time, for Netflix, and I was like, I'm not going to judge any of it. I'm not going to even watch all that much. I have to watch it because I have to edit down the comedy. And I was like, I'm not going to nitpick. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to let it go. And I have in my head all the things that are wrong with it and how gross I look. Everybody's fine with it. Everyone thinks it looks great. Everyone's acting like it's all good.
So you just make the decision in your mind. You're like, I'm not going to judge this.
Yeah.
And then you just don't?
I just separated myself from it, and I'm like, I'm just going to, whatever clips they want to put out, they can put them. They're like, we need approval on the social media clips. All right.
You're like, I did the whole special. I approve it. Whatever there is, I approve it.
All approved. I'm kind of going to take myself out of it. It doesn't mean that I'm not still driving in my car coming to see you thinking, wow, I look
self-loathing.
I should have just called the special Fatty McFat.
I'll meet you there. It's some magic place where apparently a lot of people go. I don't know where it is that they all go, but I'm like, how do you look that way? Aren't you 80? And they're like, no, I've been at the special place. I haven't had time for the special place, but we can meet there.
Yeah. It's a hard thing when your business is being in front of people.
Yeah, it's hard, but doing hysteria, getting back to that, I wanted to do something. The way it was sold to me was that we all we all live in bubbles. We all live in like little news bubbles.
Right.
And as this election just showed us, and we all think that, we're in an echo chamber, but if you set something back in the 80s, you can really see what happens when you set something in an echo chamber.
Right.
And it's just a small town where it's just people giving the information back and forth and how it whips everybody into hysteria, which I think is pretty applicable to today.
Yeah.
Literally today, since all my Democrat friends are losing their minds.
It's really interesting. Like when you say it that way, like if you go back to the 80s, you can go back to the Salem witch trials.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like a psychosis that hits this
It is.
one
And
group.
it's like when you're we all say, oh my God, we're in these news bubbles. It's so dangerous. I'm like, we've been doing this forever.
Yeah.
We've been isolating ourselves in little bubbles of information for a long time.
Now, here's the creepy thing. Sidebar, you look gorgeous in it. I love your hair in it. I love your big 80s hair. Oh, it was the best. No, but you...
Tawny Katane.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you hear it all the time, but you're gorgeous in it. Here's the thing, though, about this show, which is why it's so much fun to watch. There's some Satan stuff going on, and people are trying to figure out, is this Satan thing real or not? And I think that's what's so... forget the bubble.
Yeah.
Like that might be a real bubble. You don't, I guess that's the point you're making.
Yes, exactly.
It may not be, it is a bubble, but it might be real.
Right. It could be real. And then also by the act of thinking that it's real, are you making it real? Are you creating it? Because I think Linda, my character, I think she's just completely lost her mind. But what's the difference between losing your mind and becoming like possessed by the devil?
Tortured by the devil.
They're the same, same difference, right?
Do you believe that there's a devil?
No.
In real life?
I think that there are really bad people.
Do you think there's an evil force?
I don't. I really don't. I don't believe in any of that, and maybe I should. I wasn't
don't know.
raised with any of it, though.
You weren't.
No, I'm not Catholic.
Right.
I wasn't. Although I did. My parents were super low key, like C&E Christians. With that. Church and Easter. I mean, Christmas and Easter.
Oh, right,
Sit in the front.
Yeah.
Once
a year, twice a year.
I'm here. You're right in the front. You're like putting the $100 bill in the hat. Everyone's seeing this.
Yeah, not folded.
Just twice a year I'm here. And, but we had this very impassioned Pentecostal, like born again, speaking in tongues woman that would come stay with us when my mom and dad were out of town. Her name Mrs. Schiller. She was Scottish, and she would tell us how we were all going to hell if we didn't accept Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. And she said, "There's room for everyone in heaven except Liberace." It took me years to realize that she was a wicked homophobe. And I was like, what's wrong with Liberace? He has enough here. And I was like, you mean he likes men. I get it.
He has enough here?
He has enough here. He has it, like on earth, he has enough with all his candelabras. But what she really meant was that he was a godless man lover.
And she would just stay with your parents, would just leave her with you?
My parents would leave. They had no idea. So she would tell me that if I didn't, that Jesus could read my mind.
Yeah.
And so I was like, because she's like, they'll dang you over the pit of lions. I'll stop with my bad Scottish accent. They'll dang you over a pit of lions. And this is what they did in Roman times. And if you didn't denounce Jesus, they would drop you into the lions. And I think to myself, denounce. I'm out. And then she, puts in the kicker. He can read your mind.
Oh,
he can read your mind. And I was like, baby reindeer. And I'm like, no. So now I'm like, okay, so Jesus knows that I denounced him in my imagination if I was in ancient Rome. So now I have to ride my bike to church every Sunday alone when I'm 9 years old. Because the rest of my family's like, we're sleeping in. It's not Christmas. It ain't Easter.
And you would go?
Yeah, I went to church. They just thought I was really spiritual. I was like, I'm trying to save you.
I'm terrified.
I'm trying to save you all. Don't you know he can read your mind?
Man, Hannibal Buress, comedian Hannibal, he has a great line that I always think about. I forget the full thing of it, but about prayer. He goes, so like it's just like somehow separate from all my other thoughts. You know what I mean? You're just thinking about all this and then, okay, a little bit for God and then back to the madness and depravity.
I always think about the people like, oh my gosh, I just feel so comforted by knowing that I saw a medium and my grandmother's with me all the time. And I'm like, what about when you're jerking off? Does that not make you uncomfortable? The thought of like I'm so
Yeah.
comforted to know that my nephew is with me all the time. Like he's 10. Doesn't that creep you out?
know,
Like he
he's
sees what you're doing.
Just looking at, standing at the end of your bed.
Stop. Like I know
That medium thing. I was just in Indiana, and I was doing this. It's a very tiny town and a very big venue. And I did okay, maybe like 60% of the venue.
I feel like you really framed that well. You set it up well so that there's no way that was going to be a full venue, and it's okay.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
But I looked at like, what other shows come in here, you know? The Long Island Medium.
Yeah.
2 shows, 2 nights, packed.
Sold out.
To the rafters.
I'm hearing M, or is it W? It could be W. Those things make me crazy.
I know.
And I've gone.
You have?
Of course.
Did you feel like they got close?
Yes.
Yeah.
I went to one, our kids went to the same school. I went to a party book for our school thing where, you buy tickets, it supports the school. And it was this medium woman who everybody was raving about. And she contacted, apparently, my late father-in-law, but I'm divorced, so that would be my late father outlaw. I don't know what you call them when you're divorced.
Ex-law.
And it was literally like, hey, what's up? Like that was the extent of it. Like he identified himself and like, and I was like, oh, I know exactly. Oh, that's totally him. And it's just like, he just wants to say hi. And I'm like, that's it? It was like there was nothing I was like, okay.
You come all the way from
cool.
the afterlife just to say hey?
I think he said, I see you and I don't like it. And I'm not hanging out with you anymore. No, I'm kidding. I don't love the idea. I mean, I'm
on your ex's side.
I really loved my father-in-law. He's a wonderful guy. I adored the man until the day he passed.
Yeah.
But the idea of him like following me around while I'm going on dates or something, no. I mean, I choose not to believe
People
that kind of thing.
want to believe so badly, though.
I know,
and they
do.
just are craving any little, it
makes me wonder if religion's not better, maybe. My kids, I never had any religion for them, and I thought, oh, that's good. They'll like choose on their own. I'm not going to tell them that they're going to get dangled over a pit of lions, and they won't. And they'll choose for themselves as they get older. But nature abhors a vacuum. So my kids, one day, I'm stalling because I don't know whether it's Easter, and my parents are clearly at church. No, I have my kids, and my husband's at Starbucks, and I don't know whether he's hidden the eggs yet. We did them the night before, but I don't know if he hid them. So I'm stalling, and all of a sudden I'm like, well, I'm going to tell you the real meaning of Easter. And they're like, what? And I'm like making them eat and like slowly, and they're like, can we go look for candy? I'm like, no. Some people believe. And I go through the whole thing, and I'm like, Jesus, he was killed. And I realized I can't even tell them. I can't even say it. And they're like, how? 3 little boys. They're like 5, and 7 maybe. They're like,
oh, yeah.
How? And I was like, oh, it was bad. Like, someone put a bomb in his sandwich. I was like, what? No one put a bomb in his sandwich. Well, what's worse than putting a bomb in your sandwich?
Oh, no.
And I'm like, I still can't tell them because I still remember it's like nails in the hands. And, and I was like, it was bad. Anyway, he gets cut down from the cross. He's dead. 3 days later, they roll back the rock from the cave, and he is. And they go, "We know, Mom. He's gone. He turned into the Easter Bunny." And I'm like, this is what happens if you don't give them anything.
Yeah.
It's bad.
I know. I was raised Catholic, and we didn't raise our kids. And we went to...
You didn't raise them at all.
We didn't raise them at all. We just let it happen. And we were in a hotel, and my daughter took the Bible out and started pretending to order room service. Like that was the menu. And I'm like, we're sending our children to hell.
Can I get a Revelations? Ooh, is the Leviticus fresh?
But at that school,
yes,
they'd have their thing. And it seems my wife... We grew up in like the same town and went to the same church when we were little kids. And
really,
I still poke around, but my wife is not into it. But she really liked the chapel.
Yeah.
She did really like the...
But it's very non-denominational, the school where our kids both go.
Yeah.
It's very like I mean, yes, it's Episcopalian,
It's
but
a little.
I was.
There's an Our Father in there.
I was raised half Episcopalian, half Presbyterian.
Okay.
I banged between the two. You know what's funny? Presbyterians. It's just like a religious podcast. This is so bizarre.
I know.
But okay, so
Well, you brought up the devil in your new show.
I did. I know. But I went to boarding school. I rode my bike to Presbyterian church.
Right.
There's no crosses, and you got your basic Lord's Prayer. Everybody says the same Lord's Prayer, right?
Yeah.
No, I went to boarding school. It's Episcopalian. And we're like, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. And I'm singing along with everybody at the Episcopalian school. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Forgive us our.
Sin.
I go, debts. Everyone turns their head. I'm like, it's debts. In Presbyterian church, it's debts
It's
and
not
debtors.
Oh.
I know they were very concerned about debts.
Yeah.
I
Did they
know.
mean literally financial debts?
DEBT.
Wow.
I mean, I haven't gone
Right.
back to do any early translation, but I was like, what else have I got wrong? I'm just going to low key it over here.
I'm going to be one beat behind everybody.
I'm just one step behind. I was like,
Lead
debts.
us not into.
They're like, what is that? I was like, no one else says debts. But I was also the only kid riding their bike to Presbyterian church on the weekend.
How long were you riding your bike there?
Couple of years.
Couple years. This is when you were in boarding school or when you were home?
Before, I'd say probably about ages like 9, maybe 10 to 13 or somewhere around there.
Okay.
Yeah.
When did you go to boarding school?
14.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Did it
You're
feel
from
like
back east? You know, it's not punishment.
No. It's I was jealous of kids that got to go out on their own.
Well, my sister went, and she didn't go because she was in trouble, but it was clear she was having a lot of fun, and my parents were like, let's put a cap on the fun.
Or send her someplace where we can't see it.
I think the benign neglect from the 70s, now it's the 80s, and they're like, what do we do? We're supposed to pay attention? And the consequences? Let the school do it. So I went and visited her, and I was like, I'm coming.
Really?
I want in.
Yeah.
It was great.
That's amazing. Was this the two of you?
Three daughters.
Three
girls.
daughters.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We all went to boarding school.
You all went to boarding school.
Yeah.
And when do you come home? Is it like college?
You never go home again. You do. You come home for vacations.
Right.
But that's it. I mean,
Yeah.
And my parents, God love them, they're all about like, we're giving you an education. That was very nice of them.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mom and Dad. But when you're done and no breaks, they were like, we're paying for high school, we're paying for college, no breaks. You take a break, you're off the track, you're out. Like,
right. No skipping.
No
gap
skipping.
years.
You were no gap years. No thinking about it. No like van trips with the boyfriend.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
like to
I'll come
find
back.
yourself in the mountains and come back pregnant. And they were like, no. And then they were like, and then you're off the dole. Like, go. We've given you
Right.
all the tools. We gave you everything. Then you're free to move about the country.
Oh man.
Yeah.
What a simple way to do it.
Well, yeah, but you'd already gone to boarding school, and then so by the time we got
So you're
to
a
college,
grown-up.
I was like, come on, can everyone just settle down with all the drinking? Like, just chill. I've been
You're
living
there
in a
with a
boring.
cigarette. I've done this,
Oh my
guys.
God. Yeah, I was done. I was totally done.
Wow. You guys went to the same boarding school?
Two of us went to. My older sister Molly and I went to St. George's in Newport, Rhode Island,
Okay.
and my younger sister went to St. Paul's.
Ah. Yeah, you had to be so much smarter than other kids your age.
I always thought that St. George's was a really good school, and it was really challenging. And then we had a scandal that was covered in like Vanity Fair. There was a scandal in the 80s that came out like somewhere in the 2000s. So they wrote a big article about it in Vanity Fair. And I was reading it, and it was like St. George's, where the siblings, the better looking but not so smart siblings were sent. And I went, thank you. I didn't know. I didn't know I was at the school for the pretty dum-dums.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
I thought it was very challenging, but I guess
Yeah,
that's indicative of how dumb I am.
I could roll that into a compliment.
It was a great school.
That's really cool. Did you act when you were there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did. But I never was like full bore acting because it. Like, do you have brothers, sisters?
Sisters.
Older, younger?
2 younger sisters.
Okay, so you're the only boy, so it was like you could do whatever you wanted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you guys get like assigned roles in the family?
What do you mean?
Well, like in our family, my younger sister's brilliant and always has been. That was her. She was going to be some kind of doctor. It did not
Right.
matter. Like I don't think she is a doctor, but I don't know whether that was planted in her from like birth or
Yeah.
but there was simply no other path for her. And my older sister was the actress, and they were like, "What do we do with you?" And I was like, do we have to know? I'm 8. But I was the artist.
Yeah.
And they send me to art classes. I was super antisocial and really shy and introverted.
You were?
Yeah.
Really?
But then it turns out that actually my older sister was the artist and I was the actor.
How interesting.
But for a long time, it felt like you weren't allowed to break out of that lane.
Yeah.
They put you in the lane.
Did you show aptitude for that? Are you able to
I mean, I can draw a
and
pear.
paint? Oh, that's good. Over and over and over.
I was literally went to, because I wasn't good. I couldn't catch a ball or
Yeah.
throw a ball. So they were like, so sports are out for you. And I was
Yeah.
like, wait, what, that's it? Like, well, yeah. But at boarding school, I found out I could run in a straight line. And I was like, oh, running counts? They're like, yep. So, but until then, they were like, sports are not for you. You don't have any friends, so you're not super social. You stay home a lot and read books, and you doodle. So we're going to send you to art school on the weekends. And I would go to these art classes at this lady's house with all these adults. And, like, you would draw a pear and a vase. And
Did you take to it? Did you feel like you were, if at the time?
I associate that time with being, like, feeling like pretty much of a loser because I was like, I know why they're sending me here.
Right.
They're trying,
they can't figure it
they're
out.
They're trying to encourage something that they see could be possibly a talent, like a seedling of a talent.
Yeah.
But it was sort of like, like, you know, I come home with my little drawing of a pear and like, did you make any friends? I'm like, no, they're all 40 and someone's naked too. Because there's like nude live drawing in the other room.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
hilarious.
but there weren't many kids there.
So, as a mom,
Yeah.
did you look at your kids like, I have to find a lane for them? Or did
I'm so guilty of that. Yes.
you replicated it?
And I hate that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting thing. I talked to somebody, Barbara Corcoran, you know, from.
Of course.
She was on the podcast, and her
Humble
a
brag.
big,
Or just a big brag.
yeah, just a big brag.
Just a big fat brag.
She came from a big Irish family,
Uh-huh.
and the mother was this. She gave everybody a designation,
And hers was real estate mogul.
and I think it was. I forget what it was actually, but it was very interesting. Like she just picked, you know, you're this one and you're that one, and even when you're telling
Did it
this
fit?
story,
Did everybody stay in their lanes?
no, probably not. But there is something cool about, at least as the parent, being aware, like that you even have the radar up for when they're very little.
Right.
I think right now there's a lot of, they're 28, you'll find it, you'll
find-
figure it out. There's
You're
something
living in
cool
my
about
basement,
like 5,
yeah.
6 years old being like, at least putting the notion in their head that they should have a lane.
But then you're supposed to be so exceptional. And like my kids, of course, I'm madly in love with them. They own me. I have 3 boys,
Right.
a 17-year-old and 2 15-year-olds. And they are like the greatest. But they're not exceptional. Like one of them I didn't hand him a tennis racket and he's, you know, Roger
Yeah.
Federer.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But they're none of them that are like all of a sudden showing this like not a rocket science aptitude, but they're cool kids.
Yeah.
And they have fought me on the lanes quite a bit.
They have.
Well, the oldest is just like does his own thing. He's actually he's super into sports photography now, and that's like great for him.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen him since he got his license. So
Oh, really?
As far as I know, it's going great. No, he called twice. Once when he got in an accident, and another time when, Mom, your car died. I'm like, oh, now it's my car. The car that you've been driving for the last 6 months. Now it's mine because it
Just took
died.
off and doesn't stop driving.
Yeah, it died. Yeah.
It's interesting though. I mean, did you when they say like I'm fighting you on the lane, are you like, no, get back in this lane? Or
It's with one of my twins is quieter, and he reminds me very much of me at that age.
right.
And I keep reminding myself, like, he's great. But I'm like, why aren't you out every night like your brothers, or why aren't you obsessed with something?
Yeah.
He's like a normal, lovely kid who I love spending time with, and I have to remind myself that that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
It was fine for me and it's fine for everybody, but there's this idea that everybody has to, by the time they go to college, they're supposed to know.
I know.
Well, also at $80,000 a year, you're like, no, you're not reading a book and crushing a beer can into your head.
Yeah.
You're gonna like missing classes. Like you're going for
right
business or something. I don't know.
We had a moment where my daughter she's since graduated college, but it was like the middle of college. My wife was like, "Have you ever heard her say anything about grades?" I'm like, no, it never came up.
Was this like the middle of the night? Like,
yeah.
Tom, are you awake?
Yeah.
Like,
all of her big things come as soon as the light goes out.
Have you ever heard her talk about grades? I guess the assumption is she was doing okay.
She was doing okay. And there is that thing of you want to keep an eye and you want to guide them.
Yeah.
But there's also a big part of just letting go.
Well, she must have been a decent student.
She loved school.
Okay.
She was.
How about your younger one?
She has to give us a report every week of all of her grades. She doesn't love school as much.
But you keep more of an eye on her academic career there, or?
No. But then we pay for it, and we're like, "What do you mean you didn't get credits for that?"
And you're like, "Well, I failed." And you're like, "Wait, what?"
Huh?
I know. I'm facing that.
I dropped that class, and it's so bad. And then you're like, "Wait, what?" I told you that. You did.
I told you. You weren't listening, Dad. Oh my gosh.
She's she's more artistic and has like this other bent, and I'm kind of forcing her to get a degree because she needs to grow up and learn life and do all that
What's the
stuff.
degree going to be in?
Public relations.
Okay.
She just asked me the other day, "What is public relations?"
Wait. You said you're getting into your public relations. It's like 6 months later. She's like, one question. You're like, well, when I do a carpet, you hold my jacket and you pull me if Us Magazine gets too chatty.
Right.
That's going to be your job.
Yeah. You're going to meet people at the morning show.
You're basically going to babysit idiots.
Right. Needy actors who think they're fat.
Like, oh, yes, exactly.
You're going to tell them they're not fat.
You're going to tell them that they're beautiful and they're doing a great job. You're going to carry tooth flossing picks in your pocket in case there's an emergency.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's going to be your job.
Yeah. No, she's the thing like with the photography, she got into makeup. And she started becoming a makeup artist in high school and started doing people's makeup and special effects and got a degree at MUD. And all of a sudden this motivation came in and she just was lugging her stuff and leaving at 7 a.m.
Isn't that crazy?
And we had no idea it was coming, but then she found it on her own and had a passion for it. And we no longer were making her do something.
Right. That is remarkable, and it's all you hope for kids. I'm amazed. What's MUD?
MUD is this makeup like university in Burbank.
Okay.
And everybody like now that I'm like I was just getting like makeup done for some TV thing the other day, and I'm like,
where'd you go?
Where'd you go? I'm like, yeah, my daughter does this. I'm trying to like figure stuff out, and they all have gone through MUD at some point.
That's great. So she already has like. That's all you can hope for, especially now that, we may be entering like a post-apocalyptic hellscape of America.
Right.
We don't know.
But you'll need makeup.
But we need people who can like do stuff.
Yeah.
We don't need people who could sit around and yap. And like we need people who can weld and do makeup and cook and like do things.
Yapping got us into this problem.
Well, yapping's how we got here.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. Congratulations on a cool thing. I'm going to give you a compliment now that I've been thinking about since I was going to come see you. You did this amazing thing of playing this character for a very long time. Oh. And watching you in Hysteria, you, and I don't know how much of it is the character that you played or how you're approaching this next chapter, but it's not like you were locked into like old TV where like we had Henry Winkler on, and his thing with like running from the Fonz
Right,
was
yeah.
a big thing of his, of course. And he was able to do it and have this beautiful other career later on. But for you to do it so quickly, it's almost like you're so
Oh wow, that's really nice.
you know
That
what I
is
mean?
a
Like
very
you're not
nice compliment.
You're not like stereotyped as that character. You played this beautiful, funny character for all these years, but I could totally see you going in other places. And this show really shows that
That's
I
very
was
nice. You were right, and I think that that's what everyone needs to know is that Tom saw this coming. Thank you. That is all I ever wanted was to get to play different kinds of things. I love being Claire Dunphy for 11 years.
11 years.
Greatest freaking job. I would be there. I'd still be there.
Yeah.
If they were like, they're like, now you're a great grandma. I'm like, great. I don't care. I do
Let's
it.
keep going.
But if I can't be Claire Dunphy on Modern Family, I don't want to just do that thing
Right.
everywhere. So I needed to do something really, take a real flyer. And when he's like, when the writer, show creator, Matthew Scott Kane talked to me about it and told me where the character was going. And
Yeah.
I was like, well, is she possessed by the devil? Is she crazy? He's like, you tell me. And I was like, okay, now I'm interested. I want to do
Yeah.
that weird thing. And I also happen to know that I'm a little crazy. So I was like, this is going to be a little bit fun.
Yeah.
Because I'm a little nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, we all are.
Yeah, it's great. It's like, oh, you can go play any role that you want. There's
Well, I
not
don't know
going to
whether
be
I'm
that.
ever going to be hired again. Like, don't you have that? Like, oh, you're never, every job's your last.
Well, yeah, of course. Well, that's one thing I really wanted to ask you. What was it like? I mean, I've only been on shows that have a life of 6 episodes.
By the way,
for you to be
that's all
on
that's
for
left.
11 years, how much fun is that when you are a hit and we're no longer worried, are we getting canceled? And you just is it just heaven?
Yes.
God.
Yes, it is heaven. And I just had my twins. I was pregnant with them on the pilot. So I went right into work and I had so much stress at home between
Yeah.
having 3 little babies and getting up in the morning to go to work and to have the thing that usually is really stressful for people work
Right.
be like on lock.
Yeah.
That was the easiest part of my day.
God.
It wasn't the best part. I love being a mom, but like, it was
Yeah.
fantastic. And we were in town.
Oh, I know.
In LA, imagine.
That's so. I don't understand why it's unusual that people have TV
Because
shows in Los Angeles.
I can explain.
You can.
Well, it's because we don't have enough tax credits and rebates and
That's
all
all
that.
it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
Then why did the government let that slip? Why would they let that go?
That I can't answer. I don't understand that one. I think that they're just obsessed. I think if you look at California, it's a big state, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you've got all these people who are like areas that don't do very well, farming communities,
Mm-hmm.
questions of immigration, and then you've got like big billionaire tech land.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you've got Gavin Newsom or whoever saying, I think we should give Hollywood some more subsidies.
Yeah.
They're like, go fuck yourself.
Right.
You know what? We don't have a lot of things. Not the billionaires, they're fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of like, farming communities, or there's places where there's drought and there's no water here, by the
Yeah.
way. Just FYI.
Yeah.
Southern California, like we live in the desert.
Yeah.
So I can see that it's hard to go because we look like
Mm-hmm.
we've all been, like we're pampered little pets and now we want more.
But don't they know that we're the most important?
We are only, Tom, we are only the 2nd largest economy in California, not the first. We
Come
follow
on.
tech.
We do all the shows.
But we are so fun.
I know. We're
but
good at parties.
We are. What would you do
Make
without
cool
us?
stuff.
I know. We get dressed up. We complain.
Where'd you do Hysteria?
Georgia.
Lovely. We love Georgia.
I enjoyed
But you
it,
live here.
But I live here. I was on a plane a lot. I was on
Yeah.
a plane a lot, and now I'm doing the long-awaited. I know you've been waiting for this, Tom. Happy
Yes.
Gilmore 2
Oh, I was waiting for this.
in New Jersey, and
Yeah.
I go once a week.
You do?
Once a week for 12 weeks
To New Jersey.
to New Jersey,
Where did you do the first one?
Vancouver.
It was in Vancouver.
Yeah, I was in Vancouver, and I just stayed. But now I got 3 kids, and it's in
Yeah.
New Jersey, and I don't even have a big role in this one at all, which is great. It's fine. There's 165 people in Happy Gilmore 2.
Well, that makes me really depressed because I tried to get on it.
You could say you're in it. No one would know anything.
And I literally, my friend Flanny, who runs Largo, who's good friends with Adam, we were at lunch and he said, and I was going to New Jersey because my kids are back there.
I'm gonna be there.
I'm just purely, if you want to take $300 off the travel budget, I'm going to be in New Jersey. And it didn't happen.
Every day there is another person when I walk on the set. I'm like,
it really feels like a class reunion or something.
And then adding classes from all over the entire world and like a lot of like musicians and I don't know what I'm doing there.
Everybody wants to be in it.
It seems like it.
But if you're going for 12 weeks, it's got to be a pretty big.
But no, I go once a week for 12 weeks. I go like one day. I shoot, and then I know my role is very small, right. But it takes place there's a long, there's a big long montage that's covering how we get to now from 30 years ago.
Right. Oh, that's funny.
And since it covers so many time periods, they can't shoot it all at once in all one location. So I look like a big, all my friends are going to be like, you were gone all of the fall of 2024 and this is it? And I'm like, I know, but it was fun and I loved being with Adam, so I don't care.
How would you feel about doing a film like where you got to go away for 6 months to like Budapest or something?
I mean, I've always back when I would get offers on things like that when I was doing Modern Family, and I would say no because I wasn't going to leave my kids.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Oh, those offers are going to go away," and they did. And they did. Luckily, I mean, I don't have that much time left with them, with the kids at home. I don't think I'm going to be going. I took a job in Australia.
Yeah.
And then I think COVID happened, or they lost their funding, or I don't know.
Right.
So I haven't stepped out on that limb yet, where it's like I'm really that far gone for a long time.
Right. Man, when I watch actors, like I think I travel a lot as a stand-up, but when actors like they're gone for like a year.
They're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it sounds like you're still married, right?
Yeah.
And it sounds like you like your wife.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna let that sit there for a moment.
No, we're good. 24 years.
So, and you co-parent, now you're an empty nester. You can do whatever you want.
Almost.
What do you mean?
Well, we have these dogs that are still alive. We didn't time it out right.
Does she go on the road with you?
No.
But then she can take care of the dogs.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
But she'd like to, I was like, let's go back and live in New York for a couple months. We can't.
Dog sitter.
Yeah.
Dog sitter.
Dog sitter for 3 months?
Rent your house out. Comes with the dogs.
I would do it.
I've done it.
We do a thing on this podcast called An Uncomfortable Moment.
I thought we've had so many. There's more.
Would you be nice?
I know, you're so nice. That's why I came here. They were like, Tom Papa. They gave me this whole list of things. And I was like really kind of burnt from doing press.
Yeah.
And I felt like I wasn't bringing my best self to the table. And I was like, I need to find, and I was like, oh, I can show up for Tom Papa.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Because I know you are always really freaking funny and
thank you.
Nice.
Thank you.
I like it when you get mad too.
You do?
Yeah. You get all ranty. I like it.
That's why I hesitated when you asked if I was happy with my marriage. Because
you wanted to get ranty.
No, because I figure we could start dating. So this is a thing we do on this program called An Uncomfortable Moment. And you very deftly went from one of America's most lovable moms to kind of a scary mom in hysteria.
Indeed.
And we have our Cracker Jack staff do some research. And I don't know if this is you trying to get this role or if you actually got this role, but it seems like you're going to be the new clown in It.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Like I told you, I can't see scary things. Oh man. I've never even seen that movie because the advertising alone.
You're really not opening your eyes?
I can't. It's so creepy and
your
scary.
face.
I can see that. How can I wait? And let me look again. Let me see. Hang on. How is that oh, it's my teeth.
It's your eyes.
No, but those teeth that I'm like, how do I know that's my face? And it is. And I'm like, oh, it's my big teeth.
I said, does it look too much?
I have all my teeth. I have extra teeth. And you can see all of them right there. There they are.
So is this going to open up a whole horror thing for you?
I really have come to, I think this was a real education for me. That, like doing anything in the horror world, genre world, because I didn't know anything about it. I was like, whatever, who cares? And then you find out there is a history here. And there are people like Bruce Campbell's on the show, and we went and did Comic-Con.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, all hail the king.
Amazing,
right? It was great. It was great to see him in his element like that. It was great to see, and he's riffing about this and that and Evil Dead, and I'm like, oh, this is an entire world that don't sleep on horror. Like I don't know.
Hardcore.
Right. I just am a scaredy cat.
You are?
Oh God, yes.
You really are?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
I don't like being scared at all.
You don't. So you've never seen it?
No. No. No.
The Shining? Have you seen The Shining?
I've seen a lot of it.
You have.
But it had to like lights on. Like,
and bail out.
I saw.
Because your thing's scary.
I know. But when I'm doing the parts that I'm doing, actually, it was not. If you haven't gotten to the last episode, was the worst. I mean, it was great.
Yeah.
But I'm like in a really bad way. The last episode. I'm not good.
Yeah, you're not heading in a great direction.
And it was like, it wasn't like a fun, 5-day Modern Family shoot where we usually go home at lunch. Like we had a breezy schedule. This was like, 14 hours a day and in the crazy makeup, and I'm not doing well, and things are happening to me. And
so emotionally.
And I was like going back to my hotel room at 2 in the morning, like, I don't feel so good. And I was like, oh, I guess this is like real acting or not real acting. Maybe I'm just a bad actor and I'm like actually have to pretend that I'm possessed by the devil. But it was very challenging.
It's intense.
It was hard.
Yeah, no, because I mean, it's so real. Just watching your first, I'm not giving anything away, but your first kind of possession. I mean, it's intense.
Yeah. Well, also you feel stupid. Like as an actor, like you're hanging out at craft service and you're like making fart jokes or whatever. And then they're like, okay, first team. And you have to go like, and you start feeling really dumb. And you're like, okay, I guess I'm just going to go sit in the corner of this fake church and like rock back and forth until they're ready for me.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, wow, this is kind of intense and weird and hard. But yeah.
Did you like tapping into that after being...
Yeah, I did.
Funny and real, because you were also very real in Modern Family, but you were also very funny.
It was, it's cool to get to do something different. And because, if I die and on my tombstone they write Claire.
Yeah.
Just Claire. That's it.
And everyone gets it.
And everyone goes, I get it. I would be perfect. I would be happy.
Yeah.
But there's no sign of Claire coming back. So
right.
I would love to say I'd like to retire and raise sheep or something, but I don't really want to. I like it.
Yeah.
So I got to do something different. So it is fun.
Yeah.
It is fun. Because by the way, people are like, I didn't do comedy before Modern Family.
Oh, yeah?
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm like, I did comedy-esque. I did like Boston Legal, a show called Ed. But I would guest star as everybody's crying girlfriend. I was like, that was my jam.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm the crying girlfriend. But so it's fun to get to tap back into that.
Right. Were you funny in your real life though? Because you're funny. Just talking to you, you're funny. Like, were you known as funny with your friends? Once you started getting friends? I know you didn't have any when you were little, but...
For so long. I had them, just not very many. And they were, like, my two best friends were ballerinas, and they were always off doing ballet, and then I was at home.
Yeah.
I don't think...
Do you think you're funny? Do you consider yourself funny?
No.
Really?
Not really.
Oh, interesting.
I think... I was raised in a house of girls, and my sisters are very funny. And I was, when I'm around them, I'm the quiet one. Like, I get very quiet because they are so...
Really?
One is very boisterous, and she's all personality, and the other one is just, like, crackling wit. And I just kind of get really quiet.
It's so crazy. They must be on, like, 11, because you're not a...
A shrinking violet?
Shrinking violet. I was going to say a fading daffodil. I knew that was
You're no Delta Dawn.
I baked this bread for you, by the way.
Thank you. I was wondering if that is real.
Yeah, I made it.
A year ago.
No, here's my bag.
Wait, you made that bread?
Yes, I baked bread, and I baked that for you.
I get to take it home? Mm-hmm. Oh my God, you're saving me.
I was worried about it because
I don't look like some of these bread.
No, on your Instagram, I was like, I think she might be a runner.
Yeah.
As I see running shoes.
Yeah.
And I was like, I hope she eats bread.
I do eat bread. I do eat bread.
You never know in LA.
Yeah, but you know what? Yeah, you do never know in LA. But I also have 3 boys.
Right.
So everything gets eaten.
Right.
And like
They'll tear into it.
That's why I'm like, oh my God, I show up with this. Yeah. And they're going to be like, that'll be gone while I'm driving home from school. They're just going to like eat it with both hands. I'm going to be a huge hero.
All right, good.
But I went to boarding school to answer your question about being funny or not funny.
Yeah.
I went to school with all girls. I was raised with all girls. I never hung out with boys. Mm-hmm. I didn't really know boys.
Right.
And then when I finally went to boarding school and hung out with dudes, and I realized I was kind of, it used to be called a tomboy. I don't know what we call it now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. The way I dress is still. These are my children's shoes.
Cool.
I'm not gonna lie. They outgrew them though, so I kept them. I love them. And finally, I kind of found like I love women. I got a lot of great girlfriends now, but at the time, I felt like it was this choice between like lip gloss and like crying. And you go to like sleepovers with girls, and there was sort of like a competition to see who could cry the most. And like, oh my God, and whispering in closets. And I was like, I hate this. And I never understood why all the girls got up to go to the bathroom at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, still to this day, I'm like, what are you doing? They're like, this is what we do. And I'm like, but we don't do anything in the bathroom.
We don't have to travel as a pack.
It's fine. But when I got to hang out with guys in boarding school for the first time, just as like peers, not like dating them or anything. And I was like, oh, I think I found my people.
Oh.
And I found kind of my jam.
Yeah.
I found like, oh, there's a space that is, I imagine a lot of kids now live in.
Right.
That's much more casual and laid back. But when it was like, you had to wear a skirt and a dress, and
right.
you know, I had to curtsy to the headmaster every morning at my elementary school.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Every morning, curtsy. And so it was like this very girly girl thing that I wasn't super into. It's not like I thought I was a boy.
Right.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. I just didn't feel like a girly girl.
Yeah, that wasn't your...
That was my jam. So then I got to hang out with these like dudes, and I was like, oh...
How
I
cool.
see. There's more. There's more.
How cool that you ended up with 3 boys.
A little bit surprising.
Surprising?
Well, I didn't know what do you do with little boys? Like I knew what to do with teenage boys, and that's like hang out with them.
Yeah.
But now I have teenage boys. They're like, Mom, we're not hanging out with you. Are you kidding? Like, go away. Like, wait, no. I'm great with teenage boys.
Yeah.
Thank God for their friends.
Yeah.
Because their friends will come and hang out with me. I'm sitting in the kitchen watching like Survivor and like just hanging out, but their friends will come and hang out with me.
Oh,
and they do
nice.
like me. But my own kids are like, Mom, that's so not cool.
I'm all girls. It's all girls in my house.
I know, but isn't it weird? Like, just their parts. Like when they're little and you're like doing diapers and something, you're like, so many boy parts.
Yeah.
Like I never seen boy parts until they had like a purpose.
Right.
You know?
In development.
And they were like, model. I had an interest and they had an interest.
Yeah.
There wasn't casual genitalia like of little boys in my house or anywhere in my life. I literally didn't know boys.
Yeah. So you're learning it at...
I had to learn it on the fly. I didn't know that they would pee in your face a lot.
And now they ignore you. So you had like this little gap in the middle where it's like...
They're coming back. They're starting to come back.
Yeah.
But it was like getting dumped by 3 guys at once.
Oh.
Because you're like, guys, let's go to dinner. Tonight, I'm not cooking because I'm a terrible cook. Let's go out. And they used to be like, yay. And they're like, so? Are you going to make us but not be on our phones? And I'm like, yes, I'm going to make you not be on your phones.
Of course.
I know.
Yeah. You're not a good cook?
I can make a couple of things.
Was your mom a good cook?
No. My mom is a lovely salt of the earth Midwesterner who likes to boil bake, or fry everything until it's the same color. And then you put butter on it.
Like I said, I was just in Indiana this weekend, and you go to these places, it's farms. Everywhere you look is farms. You sit in a restaurant, and you're like, can I get a vegetable? They're like, why?
They're like, well, we have some lima beans. You're like,
Iceberg.
what is a lima bean? Like, why do you have it?
Yeah.
My mom made liver and onions once a month.
Whoa.
Or maybe once every 6 weeks, and we had to eat it.
Oh.
And
that's rough.
Well, she thought it was, I mean, I guess it's good for you.
They say it's really good for you.
It's a fucking purifying organ from a cow. It takes the toxins out of a cow. And like, it's like taking a filter, a dirty oil filter out of your car, right?
God, yeah.
And then they're like, no, but this is the stuff.
Oh, the smell.
Nope.
So intense.
Did you eat it as a kid?
Yeah, a couple times, but I think there was such a revolt that it never made its way back.
It was probably, it felt like it was once a month. It was probably once every 2 months, but that was her big step outside of, boiling something until it was beige. And
Were they, what's their heritage?
Midwestern, or so German, Swedish.
Okay.
On that side, yeah.
My mother just made a sauerbraten last night.
A sauerbraten.
Sauerbraten.
That is very German.
Yeah, her father was German.
But that means you're using kraut? I mean, using cabbage?
Yeah. Yeah.
I still, you know what? When you have to torture a food into behaving, that's when...
Even the meat for that has to 3 days of...
Right. When you have really taking the worst cuts of vegetables. You're like,
and just
what's the worst,
putting them into
hardest vegetable? Got it.
Yeah.
Cabbage. Now let's take some cut of meat that nobody knows what it is, and we're gonna pickle and boil it.
Right. We're gonna marinate it for 3 days,
and then
then it'll be chewy.
But really chewy.
Yeah.
No, not for me.
Can you bake?
Ish. I can do there's a couple of things I can do. I can do, I lived in Italy for a year.
Ooh.
And my upstairs neighbor, this old nonna, taught me how to make risotto.
Really?
And
really? That's a good thing to know.
Here's the trick. 1 spoonful at a time of the broth goes into the rice, and you never leave it alone.
Yeah, you stay there for
You
an hour.
never leave. Mm. This is not a dinner party food.
No.
This is what she yelled at me in Italian the whole time. Never leave. And that...
How old were you in Italy?
That was my junior year of college. So I was 20? 19.
What part?
19. Firenze.
Oh, beautiful.
I know.
God,
so
for a year?
nice. I know, for a year.
Man.
It was heaven.
Yeah.
It was so nice. But to be I'm old. It was a long time ago. And where they still, as a blonde, they would
go nuts.
They would just follow you around and drop trowel.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I'm not kidding. And I was like, from a fairly sheltered background. And I was like, it's a lot of man on display. They would just drop their pants.
Jeez.
As if I was going to go, oh, well, now I get it. Let me come home with you. I see. Yeah. Thank you for showing me. Yeah. Let's go.
I had no idea.
I didn't know. Thank you.
My wife always talks about when she went with her blonde friend, Vivian, through Europe for a summer, and the power of the blonde.
It was insane.
In Europe was just nuts. My wife, when we were we're going to Italy, and my wife was like, I don't know if we should go. I've seen what they do there.
They are very, I had a great time.
Yeah.
But I came back, talk about having a mouth on me. Because I was anybody looked at me sideways, because you kind of had to be that way.
You had to be that aggressive.
Yeah. But then I remember once being late. We lived really far. We were renting an apartment really far from school.
Yeah.
And being late one day and just being look at a guy and get on his Vespa, and he was gonna. I know he'd take me. To school.
Right.
He was taking me to school, and he did.
Right.
And I was like,
oh.
Sometimes it works.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works for me.
I can
just gonna get on that Vespa and go. Sure, why not?
I'm late.
I know. Those Italian women though, with the espresso and a cigarette on the Vespa, in a fur coat. I was like, they were goddesses.
Yeah, amazing.
How did they do it?
I know.
Just
I know.
So cool.
So cool. They're all so cool. The guys, just an espresso and put the jacket over their shoulder and out the door.
But you can buy a house there for €1 now. Not in Florence, but a lot of towns.
But you have to live there, right? Don't you have
you got to put money in. You got to redo the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to live there.
Did you ever see that? Who's the actress from Goodfellas?
Lorraine Bracco.
Bracco. She had like an HGTV kind of show.
Oh, she got somebody else to pay for it. Smart.
Of buying one of those homes and like, okay, we're just going to flip this and make this into a thing. There's like one guy who does stonework. They're like in this, like, I mean, it's pretty intense.
I mean, stonework, it's there's only one plumber for like 400 miles.
No, there's just one guy who does stone and nobody else.
Nobody else.
There's no carpenter. There's no plumber.
He's carving the pipes for you out of stone.
It looked really, because I always, that'll be, yeah, why not? Let's get a house there.
Well, nobody lives there anymore.
Nobody lives
It's really
there.
sad.
I know.
And I'm like, no, it's the greatest country in the whole world.
No,
it's so beautiful.
I know.
But they're not motivated to what? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Make a country. I'm not sure what happened over there.
Yeah, I don't know either. Well, a lot of people left the South to come here.
Yeah.
And
why did they do that?
Because there was no industry. They were all poor.
Okay, that tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They came over and made Staten Island.
Or Jersey, according to you.
Yeah, it's a lot of Jersey.
More Italian than Italy.
Yeah. I can't believe that you're in a scary thing, but you don't like scary things.
I can't watch. I went and visited my sister at Vassar her freshman year.
Oh.
And we were getting a little lit, had a few drinks at her dorm, and we went to they turned it was called the Aula. I don't know if it's still there. It was like a cafeteria, but on the weekends they would turn it into like a dance club.
Oh yeah.
Because as one did.
Yeah.
And I went in and we were dancing to the Pet Shop Boys, and I'm really placing this in time for you. And on the wall they were projecting Nightmare on Elm Street with no volume. Maybe it was around Halloween. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I was drunk. And they're projecting this on the wall.
Yeah.
And that's the most of a scary movie I've ever watched continuously. And I had to sleep with the lights on for months.
Oh, for real?
For months. I was terrified. I went back to my boarding school and I had a single.
Yeah.
I didn't have a roommate that year.
Yeah.
I was terrified of that movie.
Wow. This might be why you're so good in this.
I'm very easy to scare.
Yeah, there's a real fright.
It's very real.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm really scared.
My parents, when I had a fever when I was like in probably junior high, and I had a fever, and they left me on the couch while The Exorcist was on. And
Oh my God, they were trying.
I slept on my sister's floor for I think 2 weeks.
So right?
was
You had
terrified.
a fever, so it's like your weekend.
Terrified.
It was entering you.
Yeah, and being raised Catholic, I think we're probably still going to church at that time, and now
Did you stop going to church?
I did for a while. I still go now though.
Oh, you do? Mm-hmm. What do you like about it?
I haven't found anything else that I've gotten through a lot of life, and I was always kind of happiest when that was a part of my life. And at this point, I've done a lot of things, and
You need to repent.
no,
I see.
all the bad things. No, I got to a point where it's like nothing else has given me peace or contentment. Like I've done all the things that they tell you should that should make you happy, and at the end of it, I'm like, yeah, I'm not that happy.
Did you have a good relationship with going to church when you were a kid?
Yes,
Oh, well, see, that's,
I
there
did.
you go.
Yeah, it wasn't fraught. There was no scary people around.
Right. So there's
There was a place for it.
Right.
And
There's also a system. Catholics, you guys have it, like, it's a real system.
it's
like,
a real system.
It's like if you do this, you get the A.
Yeah.
If you do that, you go to hell.
Yeah, it's pretty clear
It's
cut.
pretty clear. It's not like,
You do have to kind of start playing with the edges of it. It's,
like,
there's a lot there that
Sure.
you're not completely in line with.
like you're never going
But-
to use a condom.
but-
You're never going to use birth control.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of, right? You got to kind of bend
And you have
it a little
daughters,
bit.
and you tell them to go to college, and you're like, just pray.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It works.
No, yeah, but for a guy my age, like figuring it out, like there's a piece to it,
Yeah.
for sure.
But it's kind of returning to an original comfort.
I think that's a big part of it.
Like, it's not like you found Catholicism later in life.
No,
Not like Candace
but I did get
Owens.
kind of, I did get kind of called back to it. Like I kind of had certain things. I just kind of found myself being kind of drawn back to it
Really?
magnetically.
Did you do this with your wife and your kids? All alone?
I'm all alone.
Did you ride your bike?
And like
Did you
my
ride your
wife
bike
and I
there?
went to the same. I ride my bike desperately fast.
You got to get back before they wake up.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I kind of fold it in. I go to the earliest one so they don't even know it's happening.
Yeah, and it's LA.
It's weird. It feels weird. It does feel weird
To go alone?
to go alone that I've gone back. My wife and I went to the same
Right, you said you went to the same church growing up.
It was the one that Bill Maher sits in and went in the beginning of Religulous.
Oh.
When the whole anti-religion thing.
Yeah.
He went to the same church as well.
in New Jersey.
And he's starting his whole diatribe against religion, sitting with the background of this stained glass.
They let
that
him.
I looked
Did
at
they
when
know
I was,
what he was using the church for when he was shooting?
No, I doubt it. Well, maybe. I don't know. I mean, he had cameras, and I think he was talking to a priest. But my place of like quiet little inspiration was his like he'd been there too, and was like, And my wife, who went to the same one, she can't get around. A lot of it is being a woman. She can't get around. I can get around certain parts of the church, and my wife, there's too much for her and my sister to get around.
Right, because it is a patriarchy.
Big time. Here's my problem: is that with all of this, and you see everybody, most people have a searching or a feeling that there's something there, and you have all of these human beings getting in the way of it, getting in the way of this connection to. I mean, we're not here really to podcast.
What?
We're not, you know what I mean? We're not supposed to live in concrete of Los Angeles. There is always this thing, and it's very upsetting that the human beings that have manipulated it for their own power. I just am in a place now of I'm not going to let other human beings get in the way of my connection.
That's the least Catholic thing a Catholic could possibly say.
I know.
Because the whole Catholicism thing is all like you need your interloper. It's not an interloper, but it's the priest. You need someone who's going to talk to God with you for you.
Right. But the best ones are just there to kind of give you an interpretation of this scripture and present the Eucharist, and then we go home. Like,
Do you believe in transubstantiation?
in what?
Transubstantiation.
What's that?
Well, that's where the rubber met the road for my Protestants and your Catholics. That's
where
when
we split?
you believe that. Well, it's one of the big splits.
Oh, for the
you believe
Eucharist?
that the wafer is the
Yeah.
body of Christ. It's not like a representative of it.
Right, exactly. He's actually present on Sunday when you get it.
No, it's actually his body.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, the Holy Spirit brings it into it
Oh, okay.
during the ceremony, and then it's real.
And then it's real.
Yeah.
So is that works for you?
Yeah, I'll go there.
Okay. Do you know that's where? Okay. So you know they used to have the mass was in Latin, obviously.
Yeah, I
Which
went
is
to
one of
one.
Oh, really?
In
How was it?
Nashville.
Latin? How is Latin with a Southern accent?
Intense, kind of scary.
Dona, nobis, pot
I was
cham.
doing a show. I'll dip into churches when I'm on the road, and it's been really like this kind of field trip of like these people are just like groovy with guitars and whatever. And then I went to the Latin mass.
You're like, these people are not groovy with guitars.
Whoa.
Were the women in a different section?
No, they were,
Hadn't gone that far.
but they wear veils. They wear veils and what's this? What's the scary thing that we don't want to live in?
Hell?
No,
Purgatory?
the show where they take all the women and
Oh, Handmaid's Tale.
Handmaid's Tale. It felt a little like that.
Well, so then when they had masses in Latin and everything is, the Dark Ages. I'm going to be telling you your business.
Yeah, no, I don't know much about it.
Okay. That they kept it in Latin because that's the language that they decided to keep things in during the Dark Ages. So the priests kept all the knowledge, blah blah blah. So and it was a separation. They were keeping the the poor folk, kind of
Right.
making them believe they needed this intercessor. Is that the word?
Right.
To talk to God, and God speaks Latin, obviously.
Of course.
Obvi. And then when Martin Luther comes along, and we get the Protestants and everything, and they when they give you the wafer in church, they say "Hic est corpus Christus." This is the body of Christ, and "Hic est" what's the blood? I don't remember. And "Hic est something sosis." And the Protestants were outside the church. They're like, "What is all that hocus pocus?" And that's where hocus pocus comes from.
For real?
Because hic est corpus. I mean, they were like, that's like, oh, they turn the wafer. It's magic.
Hocus
Hocus
pocus.
pocus. It's like a bastardization of the Latin. I kind of like that one.
Wow, that's a really good one.
I know.
I didn't really like the movie that much.
Hocus pocus. There wasn't enough Eucharist. I could have used a little more prayer.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of magic in Catholicism.
There is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of spooky mysticalism.
Well, it didn't be spooky, but I mean, it's
Yeah.
definitely like magic. Like, do this. It's like, clap your hands 3 times, and
Yeah, the rosary.
the rosary.
Yeah.
Like they give you real path.
Yeah, yeah. And it is weird to even like talk about it because I'm not, there's a lot of things that I don't agree with, but I do like, just like you said, like going back to whatever my original path
Right.
was as a kid and feeling like, okay, I'm a little more content. I'm a little more in tune with the universe for a second.
So for me, that's kind of like going to a country club on a Sunday and having warm gin and cashews.
Well, if you're inviting me, I don't have to go to mass every
Because that's
week.
where I grew up. That's my
Warm gin and cashews.
warm gin and cashews. We're wasps. We don't want you to
Yeah.
we want you to stay, but not too long. There's never a seat. There's no ice. It's like,
Yeah. Oh man, the wasp. I don't know. It could be so repellent, but also so attractive at the same time. You're like, I love I like the wasps are as close to living Turner Classic Movies, which I adore.
This is true. It is. It's like, say, Charlie, let's talk fast and not really get into anything, all right? And yeah, that's exactly
You know
right.
how your father is.
You know how your father is. Oh, damn. Bink.
So
No
great.
time.
Yeah.
And then they're zipping off. Yeah, those are my people.
Yeah. We do another thing on this program.
Uh-oh.
I try to bake you bread and some of the finer things in life. But we also love the stuff that we kind of grew up with. And we do taste tests of things we find in the 7-Eleven.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love
And-
a 7-Eleven.
And today we're going to go back to snowballs.
Snowballs.
When's the last time you had a snowball? Have you ever had a snowball?
I've had a snowball, but I didn't know they came in pink.
I know. Yes, they do. I only know them as pink.
I love 7-Eleven. I keep waiting for them to like give me like a lifetime card. I love a 7-Eleven. I'm always happy when I go to 7-Eleven. Every now and again, you hit one that
it's a treat.
like in a very specific neighborhood where you go, you don't have any of the stuff I like. But for the most part,
They got everything
they have
you
everything
like.
you like. Like you know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
You could drive across the country on 7-Eleven.
I know.
Very
It is so
easily.
good. You know, it's a weird thing that we had, which I was going to try and get, but that I didn't want to do it to you. We had a 7-Eleven has their own line of potato chips, and they have a hot dog flavored potato chip.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
No, don't look for
I
it.
think they don't carry that maybe at the LA 7-Elevens.
Yeah. You might
You know
be
what I
right.
mean?
Yeah.
You know when you get to
They're
the
bougie.
7-Elevens where you get to like real American 7-Elevens and you're like, do you have any Coke Zero? And they're like, what? They're like, no, we have Mountain Dew and shut the fuck up.
Smell that. That sounds great.
Oh, it's coconut.
Cheers.
Cheers. I don't remember coconut. Is
Mm-hmm.
that what the white stuff is?
You know what I'm about to do? I'm about to take a bite of it, but when I was a kid, I would turn them inside out. I remember the outside coming right off. Yeah, look at that.
What?
Remember?
No.
You don't remember this?
No.
Look how the outside just comes
Oh my
right
God.
off.
It's like
I'm just going to bite it.
Wait. Oh, is this one of those things? Oh, wow. Look at that. You can hide its shame like an ortolan. You know when you eat that bird and you got to put the thing over your head so no one sees it? Like, shh, don't tell anybody inside.
It's naked.
Shh.
He just took its clothes off.
I know. I think that if you left this
You know-
pink stuff in a drawer, it would be exactly the same in like a month. Mm-hmm. Like it wouldn't lose any.
It's weird.
It's like it reminds me of food.
Right.
Like,
But there's enough in the way where
but you kind of can't get to the food part.
no, which is why we're not eating them regularly. Like there's things like I would seek out, but the snowball, even as a kid, I was like, I see what you're trying to do, but no.
I thought maybe it was like a peep. Like it was one of those things you had to dry out.
Peep.
The peeps. No, don't you dry the peeps out?
Yeah, so they get hard and crunchy.
So they get hard and crunchy.
You're right.
I thought a snowball like was something you wanted to get hard and crunchy because this is a little. I don't know why. The little skirt, the little shame skirt.
I love how yours just
is
came up.
it's a little rubbery.
Yeah, it's a little. There's something to it.
But there's something about that cheap sugar. There's that real cheap shot of sugar that's
Yeah,
good.
no, we really shouldn't look at any ingredients. There's a
Let's
lot
not.
of them. I'll tell you that.
And they're all like extra oos.
The number one is sugar,
Well, at least they're being honest.
and second only to corn syrup.
Which is also sugar. Which is sugar by way of Richard Nixon. It is. Remember he made corn subsidies.
the
They're like,
corn
what are we going to do
subsidies.
with it? Turn it into sugar? I don't know. I don't have anything else to do.
Let's feed it to the people.
Well, we can't. Well, then
They're not into it on the cob.
And when the people don't, yeah, and then when the people are tired of it, we're going to give it to all the animals. Like the animals, like we don't want this. Like you're going to love it. Just
I
settle
don't
down.
eat corn. You eat steak? It's in your corn.
I don't eat. I stopped eating red meat after high school.
You did?
I loved my school, but the food was abominable, and we had to sit down and have dinner every night
Yeah.
at like a long table. And
Like Hogwarts?
Yes, it actually. My kids have looked at it and they were like, "You went to Hogwarts. It's gorgeous. It was.
Yeah.
It's the most beautiful school.
Yeah.
But on Wednesdays we had steak. And I say steak, big quotes on steak. It was like a shoe that had been boiled. Your mom might have liked this with the kraut. What is it? What was
The
it?
sauerbraten.
Sauerbraten. And you ate what was in front of you. That was it. There was no place to go get food.
Right.
There were no 7-Elevens
Right.
near my school.
You got what you got.
So you got what you got and you ate it. And I remember just gnawing my way through that steak, and I was like, never again. No one's making me eat this again.
Really? So it
it's
turns you
my
off to all of
rebellion.
it. Yeah.
It's just a total rebellion at this point.
What's your favorite food?
Oh, I'm not much
If it's
of
your
a
birthday.
foodie. Okay. Oh my God, you just hit two like bam, bam. I stopped
Why?
because my older sister loved her birthday. She still loves her birthday.
Uh-huh.
And her birthday was in April, and it was 2 days away from my other sister's birthday. So and then my dad was born in April, and April was just like birthday palooza, and I was in March, and the only way to distinguish myself from these people was
people.
And when I was 10, around the time I was riding my bike to church.
Yeah.
I think this is peak joylessness. I was really settling into my no joy period. I declared that I wasn't having a birthday. And my parents said, okay. Just like,
They just, fine.
they were like, really? And I said, yeah. And that became my thing.
To have no birthday.
Right. But now that I'm old, people think it's because, she doesn't like,
Doesn't wanna
on
celebrate.
On Modern Family, they always reel out these cakes and stuff.
Right.
And the first table read ever, I was pregnant as hell, and they rolled a cake out. It was my birthday.
No.
And I was like, oh God, they don't, oh no. And then after that, I'd be like, so they were like, don't ever mention birthdays in front of Julie. She's very sensitive. It's like, don't look her in the eye. I was like, no, it's not like that.
They think it's like an
I can't.
Yeah.
People are going to start adding them up.
I've
I'm
done this since I was 10.
I've done it. Yeah, it was my jam since I was 10.
So you're not celebrating with any food on your birthday?
When I was little, I remember my mom saying, what do you want for your birthday? And I wanted those. They were something that was in the freezer. It was like it was some sort of chicken thing that was breaded all the way to the outside, and then when you put your fork in it, basically it just like a puddle of butter came out.
Oh, that's nice.
And all I wanted was like any kind of a potato as a child. You could do anything to a potato, and I liked it.
That's nice.
I could live on a potato. I think not my best choices. Yeah.
Well, I hope you enjoy the bread. It'll be make it into toast.
Well, I will. What I'm going to do is I'm going to slice it up, and I'm going to put half of it in hiding I put half of it, slice it, and put it in the freezer so that my children can't get it right away
Nice.
because they never look there. Not even for ice cubes.
Really?
And Mom, where are the ice cubes? Like, how many places could they be? Let's give this some thought. Could they be in the backyard? No, they can't because they're ice. So I could put anything in the freezer. I could put drugs and a giant dildo in the freezer, and they would never look there. Like that's
You know
what
what
Mom
wouldn't be
keeps her
bad in the
stuff.
freezer? Snowballs. A frozen snowball, maybe.
Could be. You think then the rubberiness would just
Yeah.
sort of transubstantiate into
Yes.
like a crunch?
Into the life of the snowball.
Did you know you were going to talk about Jesus so much on your podcast?
No. And what's weird is I don't talk about it with anybody, even my family.
Do they?
They never ask questions. I always feel like I'll answer if I'm asked, but I don't.
One of my sons is dating a girl who's Catholic, and he said to me on Sunday, he was hanging out with her family, and he said, well, I'm going to come home when they go to church. They were going on Sunday evening, which I thought was interesting. I guess
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about Catholic mass times. And he said,
late.
he came home and he said, they invited me, but I didn't think I should go. And I said, not with what you're wearing. Because he's like in his like Yeezy slides with socks and the sweatpants hanging off his ass and like,
Yeah.
and everything. He's like, what do you have to wear to church? And I was like, I have to go ask Tom Papa. I don't know. I'm like, I don't
Pants.
Pants, like real pants.
Real pants and maybe a shoe.
Just one will do, but it has to be a real one.
Yeah.
It
has to
cannot
lace
be
up.
like a piece of Kanye plastic rubber.
Yeah. No,
yeah.
You should lace it up.
Yeah. But he had a lot of questions. It was interesting.
Yeah.
He goes, well, if I go with them, because I think he's curious about what this family's into. I'm like, that's cool. And he's like, if I go with them, what if they do the thing with the like, I said, communion? I said, no, you cannot take communion.
Yeah, you got to stay in your seat.
You gotta stay in your seat. He's like, how will they know? I'm like, Jesus can read your mind.
Can I tell you a funny thing? And this is horrible, but on Christmas, my older, who's really not into religion at all, and my wife, who's giving it up, they were going to come with me to mass on Christmas Day. So we go, and we walk in, and this woman comes up and requests that we bring the gifts, the communion, up to the altar. And she was like,
Whoa. Wait, you bring you're
you
the
like carry the
wafer?
the wafer and the
Wine?
and the wine, and you bring it up and present it. And
From
she
where?
Did,
Where are you bringing it? From Ralph's?
from the back,
Oh,
like
okay.
from like the up
you
the
knew
aisle.
where to go. You knew what to do.
I knew what to go,
Okay.
but I also know that they don't know who's bringing this up. They don't know these two heathens I'm with.
Yes.
That are going to be presenting the gifts.
And then
But she
they-
just did it so fast. It was like the last mass of like 20 masses that they've had between Christmas Eve and Christmas
right.
Day. They're just like, take this up. And we just did it. And they're like, they never go to church. And
Wait,
now
they
they're,
received communion?
they're walking it up
But they didn't then kneel down and receive it.
No. They brought it. Well, my wife does because she.
Okay, because she got the dispensation.
But it was just so funny that like these two are just on a field trip are now like bringing.
Oh my God.
I know.
That's like
Yeah.
something out of a Woody Allen movie.
Yeah,
It's
right,
like, what's
exactly.
going to happen? What if I actually put it in my mouth and
Yeah.
then
I think I'm Catholic now.
I think I'm Catholic now, and because Jesus can read your mind and you're going right to hell. You're like, but I didn't even believe in that yesterday. That's where you're going today.
Yeah, it's too late.
It's too late. It's all happening. It's a nice system, though. I was an
Yeah.
Italian Renaissance studies major. Useless. And something that our kids cannot do anymore because college is too expensive.
Yeah.
But I did my final thesis paper on Michelangelo's Final Judgment.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, it's like a map of, this is what happens.
Yeah.
It's like it's
I
all
know.
there. You don't ever
Right.
have to read a book.
Yeah.
It's right there. You
I
got
know.
it.
I know. There's something to it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Scares the F out of you.
Yeah.
See, I stopped myself there just once.
Bless you.
I don't think you could do that.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. And that's a wrap on
Yeah,
Julie.
we're gonna get Julie out
And
of
now
here.
one without Julie.
And if we can just all ask for forgiveness and say 3 Hail Marys when she leaves.
3 Hail Marys.
Oh, this was so
Thank
nice.
you, Tom. Thank you. And thank you for the bread.
Yeah.
I'm actually really excited about that. I'm not lying. Did you have a special oven?
No. Well, I use a Dutch oven.
So in the oven, like it's like a crusette.
Yeah.
But what makes it? Do you have to put water in there or something?
Just spray water. To get steam.
Is it sourdough?
Yeah.
Did you start this starter when?
No.
No.
Way before.
Oh.
I'm no Johnny bread lately.
What is the vintage of this starter?
This is about 10 years old.
Wow. I tried to be a Johnny bread lately.
You did?
During COVID. And that talk about, you can't leave the house because of a dog.
Yeah.
We were going on a road trip. We had to take the starter. And I was like, this is awful. People go, oh, well, you can put it in the refrigerator and then come back.
Yeah.
No, it died.
Oh, well, that was a lot of neglect. It takes like 2 weeks for it to really die.
Yes.
Yeah. That's about right.
Yes, that makes sense.
No, you do tend to it. It really becomes this big part of your life, which is...
What happens when you're on the road?
I don't go out for long periods, like I'll go out and come back usually. But if it is over a week and a half, I'll have to have someone at home feed it.
And they know what to do?
I have to walk them through it. We FaceTime.
That's when, during COVID, we got a snake that I had to feed.
Oh.
With little baby rats.
Oh, that's the worst.
And then we also had the sourdough starter. And I was like, because I didn't have it. I was like, I'm not getting a dog. I finally didn't have a dog for the first time in my life. And I was like, I'm not. So now I'm beholden to a snake and this jar of bubbling yeast.
Goo. Yeah.
And you know what?
Yeah.
I got a dog. I said, I'm done with this snake and these rats and this bubbling mass, and I got a dog.
Yeah, good for you.
At least I can understand it. Yeah. How are you going to get somebody to house sit for you're like, we have a dog, and I have some starter over there.
We have a good friend that like stays at our place a lot for the dogs when we do travel, and she can feed the starter. She's gotten good at it. Well, I made you bread.
Thank you.
Now listen. I made this before I went to do my show on the weekend.
Oh, so it's bad.
No, so I froze it and then did the last heating of it this morning.
Great.
So if it's not perfect, don't judge me.
If it's not perfect, I'm just going to post about it. I don't know why. That's what we do now. We post at people. Send angry
Do you run
screeds.
every day?
No, I can't anymore. I got too many injuries. I do something every day though.
All right.
I do a lot of. I have a problem. Like my brain won't calm down until it's been like exhausted.
Oh yeah, you gotta
I
run
gotta wear it down. So now I'm doing a lot of singles pickleball.
Oh no.
I know.
Be careful.
Why?
Everyone I know with pickleball has injuries.
Yeah, but that's because. Okay, I was about to say something very judgy. Like. I've been injured. I got a lot of injuries from falling down. But like, if you if you don't be an idiot. Like, don't be an idiot.
But there's a lot of jerky.
There's a lot of stop and starts. You have to wear the right shoes. But if you're playing singles, especially, you run your ass off, which is great.
Oh, okay.
And that's why I like it.
Oh, singles. All right. That
Singles.
makes sense.
Yeah, because you have to actually go for every single ball. When you're with fast, I can't do that.
Right.
Remember that? I don't know if you remember in the beginning. I was like, I can't.
Yeah.
Anything with balls. I was like,
yeah.
My family wouldn't let me play frisbee because they were like, no.
It's just going to hit you.
Oh, no. And then it's going to go way over there and I got to go run for it. Like, I couldn't even get it close to them. I still can't do that.
My cousin came to Halloween and she had her whole arm in a cast because she broke her elbow playing pickleball. And she loves pickleball so much that when she stayed over, she was from North Carolina. And I left the room when football was on, and I came back and pickleball was on.
I've tried watching pickleball because when I was in the hotel in New Jersey, and I was like,
yeah.
Tennis had just ended, and the U.S. Open was done, football hadn't started, basketball hadn't started, and I was like, I guess I'll watch. No, it's not something to watch.
No, it's not.
Not for the watching.
I know, it really isn't.
It's fun to play,
Yeah.
but no, that is not. It's fun when you see those little clips of like McEnroe and like Bjorn Borg playing pickleball, and they're like, brrr. It's like they're like
they
ping
do?
pong in the 70s. Yeah.
Oh, really?
They do these like charity matches and stuff. You can't even follow the ball; it's going so fast.
Wow.
And that's really fun. But otherwise,
cool.
no. It's
All right.
just a way
Well,
to
be
run
careful.
It down. Thank you.
Thank you for doing this.
Thank you. I want my bread.
All right. We got it, Joe.